Call me radical, but I think the guns should start to have insurance policies. Sorry, that's my solution. If I gotta insure my Honda Civic, you need to insure your gun. As with anything valuable in this life, your health, your phone, your house, your car, you insure it. If your guns are valuable to you, it shouldn't be a problem to insure them. Could you imagine can't buy no gun till you got gun insurance, baby?
So that was a nurse from Nashville, Tennessee, and she has gone viral on TikTok for offering a solution to help curb gun violence that has a lot of light bulbs going off in a lot of people's heads. So her proposed solution is simply to insure guns and make gun insurance a requirement for gun owners. The TikTok was uploaded by this 28-year-old nurse named Ryan Parrish, and her idea has garnered almost 13 million views in less than a month. Let's hear more of what she has to say.
If somebody does something stupid with their gun, then guess who's got to pay for it? The insurance company. And that's gonna regulate real fast. If you're at my house and you fall off my roof, that's on my home insurance policy, right? If you're playing with my gun and you shoot somebody, that's on my gun insurance policy, right? Bitch, I ain't gonna let just anybody have my gun. Hell no, I pay insurance on this bitch. I'm just saying, I don't say this often, but I think the insurance companies need to get involved. In fact, I don't think I've ever said that in my life, but I think the insurance companies, it's up to them. They're our last hope at savior. Hey, if the police catch you out with a gun that doesn't have insurance on it, they can take it. You got to go to court, get insurance on it, or prove you had insurance on it. You get your gun back because you're a responsible gun owner. Come on now. Y'all, this, I know this will sound radical to some. To me, it sounds reasonable.
You know, she's serious when she's a nurse advocating for more insurance. So gun regulation and gun safety is obviously a very heated topic here in the United States, especially where so far this year, we have had 385 mass shootings. That is so far, as you can see on the chart, we're a little down from where we were in the previous years, but you know, it's just October, early October, no less. The idea of gun insurance isn't new. And in fact, liability insurance for gun owners has been mandated in places like San Jose, California and New Jersey. It's also already required in a lot of other countries, such as Germany and Portugal. But here in the United States, in early 2022, San Jose, California became the first jurisdiction to pass a law that requires all gun owners to carry insurance that covers gun-related injuries. Later in the year, New Jersey enacted legislation that will require every private citizen who carries a handgun in public to obtain liability insurance. And while some gun advocates have challenged this ruling, particularly in San Jose, a federal judge ruled that an insurance requirement does not restrict gun firearm possession or use. And while Republicans like Senator J.D. Vance they just argue for more security, a lot of people actually agree with Parrish's idea that insurance regulations might not be a bad thing. One user on TikTok had this to say: "As an owner of one, I approve. It's the responsible and reasonable solution, and you're right. The insurance companies will lobby for legislation when it impacts their bottom line." Way to use the system to get something good out of it, right? Another user said this: "I think it should be just like cars. Insurance, safety course, and classes. Guns based on level of classes like vehicles, class A, C, etc. Basic gun like a shotgun would be a class C, handgun class B, semi-auto class A." But we've got to be fair because the internet is the internet. Other users did find some flaws in Parrish's idea, which again is not really Parrish's idea because it's not really a new concept. But they said, "Only problem with this for me is the people who can afford the insurance versus those who can't make it. So that is another thing, only certain people would have the ability to legally own." But Parrish made a follow-up TikTok to address some of those concerns, so I will let her speak for herself. Take a look at this.
A couple of things about gun violence very quickly. I understand that my idea, it's not perfect, but American problems require American solutions. No, but seriously, if you can find a way for someone to make money off of our safety, they will be inherently more vested in our safety. And unfortunately, in this capitalistic government that we live in, that's the name of the game. A couple of other things. As for the people in the comments on that video saying that that would never work, criminals don't follow the law, etc., why have any laws? Why have any laws? If criminals don't follow the laws, why do we have any laws? Also, a lot of people are saying that people that commit gun violence are already buying guns illegally and would not insure their guns. A very interesting fact about school shootings is that the majority of the guns used in school shootings were obtained legally.
So yeah, I do think that people would buy their guns legally and insure their guns if that was the law. I think that the vast majority of gun owners like to see themselves as responsible gun owners, right? That's how they sell themselves to the public. I'm a responsible gun owner, right? And all these people who are not responsible, they're the ones who are doing all these mass shootings, et cetera, et cetera. And that's always been the argument, is that the bad people who are doing the bad thing are just going to continue to do the bad thing. Parrish did disprove that in her TikTok video. But I wanted to cover this story because I think like we're so tired of having the same conversation over and over and over again. Every time there's a mass shooting about what should happen and what could happen and what will or won't happen. And nobody ever really offers any kind of meaningful solutions, not even anything that would be up for debate, right? We don't even try anymore to do anything. For the longest time, a lot of people thought, if these politicians, if their families were targeted by the guns, if they were personally affected by it, that's when they would do something. But no, we've seen them come in danger. Like Donald Trump, he was just shot at. There was that shooting where the Congress people what were they, playing baseball or something? There was a shooting there, and they still didn't do anything. There was a riot at the Capitol. They still didn't do anything. But the only thing that moves any kind of needle in this country is money. And we know that, right? Like they haven't done anything because they're getting kickbacks from the NRA or from whoever. So I do like this idea. I think it's at least a conversation that needs to happen. And like, it's so overdue. Cenk, what do you think?
Yeah, to be fair, on January 6th, there weren't guns. There were other kinds of weapons.
Right.
But your point about Trump is so true, because when there was a school shooting, Ted Cruz started saying, "Oh, I have a great idea. Let's just make less doors in schools." That's so pathetic that I thought after the Trump shooting they might be like, "Oh, the guy was on the roof. Let's just make less roofs." And then we're no, guys. The problem is the guns. But you want to keep your guns? Well, she found a great solution. Now the reality is, as Yasmin pointed out, people have been talking about this for a while. We've talked about it on the show many times. But this is why I love TikTok, because when people see it, short little video that is really smart, by someone that looks and sounds like them, and they have a common sense idea, it goes viral. I love it. That's why the government's thinking of shutting down TikTok after the election. They've already actually passed that law. Their number one reason actually is because they say that it's biased towards Israel. Yeah, the platform is biased towards Israel. Okay, maybe. No, they don't like regular people coming out with great ideas or criticizing governments, whether it's ours or other ones. But I want to explain one thing she said with a little bit more detail here, because guys, if you let's say you're a rich person, you got this fancy piece of art, whether you insure it or not is up to you. Most times they do insure it because they don't want anything to happen to it and then lose a couple $1 million or whatever. Okay, but it's your choice. But when it comes to your car, it is not your choice. The government mandates it. Why? Why does the government care whether you have to pay more for your car or not if you get into a wreck? Because it doesn't care that you have to pay more. Your car could be dangerous and it could cause damage to another vehicle or to another person. So if you run into someone and you destroy their car, or maybe cause significant medical problems for them, it's not fair to the victim that they have to foot that bill. So the government makes you get insurance to make sure that the victim is taken care of. Think about it. For guns, that is a perfect analogy. So with guns, there's almost always victims in illegal shootings, right? And then in our society, we go, "Oh, well, let the victim take care of it. Put all the costs onto the victim." Well, that doesn't make sense in cars, and it doesn't make sense in guns. So this is an excellent idea, but of course our politicians won't do it for the reason that Yasmin said, because the gun manufacturers don't care about your safety or the shootings. In fact, when there are more mass shootings and school shootings, more people buy guns. So the gun manufacturers love the lack of safety and security. They want you to all feel incredibly insecure, so they make more money.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I think we got to be honest. as much as I love this idea, and I think this idea of like just basically taxing guns in any way you can, it sounds wonderful. I also know how greedy American companies are. So the minute that they're obligated to provide in gun insurance somewhere that they don't want to, they'll just do like they do as it pertains to flood insurance in southern parts, in the eastern parts of North Carolina, or in other parts of the country, or earthquake insurance. They'll just run and stop providing insurance there. I also want to note that the guns that are responsible for mass shootings aren't the ones that are in New Jersey. They're only requiring insurance for handguns. And that to me is absolutely disgusting, because you're saying to certain people, or a certain type of people, that, we're going to find a way to criminalize you having this gun on top of the fact that you got this gun. But since you don't have insurance, also, we're going to take care of that. I think this country, our love affair with guns, for me, is already disgusting, just because I am a history buff, and I love why we have this so-called love of the Second Amendment, but I also know where it started. It started as a way to make white people feel more important than black people. It happened at the Bacon's Rebellion, when black people and poor white people got together and said, "You will not exploit our indentured servitude contract." The rich elite said, "We're going to allow white people to get married. We're going to stop black people from getting married. We're going to allow white people that are so-called Christian-born folk can become American citizens. Black people can never become American citizens, and also white people can have the right to own guns, and black people can't." That is where this love of guns come from. So for me, I have a natural disdain for guns for that reason.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.